Let me also acknowledge the entire leadership led by the convener of the process, Comrade Nico Shivambo. Ladies and gentlemen, this collective of Mayibuye Consultation acted on behalf of all the volunteers who took time when a call was made to volunteer through a volunteer process which was advertised on all media platforms. We have called you here to say, relax. My name is Mabatu Mkause. I'm chairing this session today, and I'm also the national chair of the Mayibuye process. Leaders of Mayibuye who are here, and all volunteers who are out there, we have heeded to the call to call this collective of entrepreneurs, the collective of business, and the collective of professionals to come and have an engagement as part of the Mayibuye process, consultation process. We are going to go province to province, region to region, and speak to a collective like this, and speak to all stakeholders and want to hear from them. As we embark on this journey, what is it that you want to see changing in South Africa? What is it that you want us to do when all of us take a decision to either have a political movement or a movement which will be guided by each and every stakeholder out there which we are going to be meeting? This collective, together with all the volunteers of Mayibuye, respects all the stakeholders. That's why we called this first part of stakeholders today, amongst others that we have been engaging on. We respect traditional leaders because they are the owners of the land. But also, when you start traditional healers, you run a risk of leaving them behind. These are the sectors that we do not want to leave behind. These are also the sectors, including yourselves, that we want to carry along and say, in our planning moving forward, we would love you to be a part of it. When you vote, when the time comes, you should be proud and say, I was part of this collective decision. I was part of this process. We have taken upon ourselves as volunteers of Mayibuye to rise above and make sure that we take a stand and get everybody else to understand that we are not going to sit and let our country run to the drain. Our people under the ANC government remains impoverished. Our people under the ANC government remains without jobs, remains under constant electricity cuts, some areas without water, some areas our people are still drinking with animals. Hence, we needed to take up the reins and say, we are not going to be counted into this laziness, into the corruption which is happening currently in government. There are formations who tried to be a part of this process. Black formations which were trusted. The EFF. When the EFF was formed, it seemed to be a voice of a black child. But along the way, when all the elements were creeping in, many people sees the EFF as a cult, as a one-man show. There are many heads, there are many brains there. But when you look at their posture, you see only one man. And it's a self-enrichment project. Process. Comrade Nolbaba Lomkinga to come and introduce all the leaders who are here of the Mayibuye consultation process. Comrade Nolbaba.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good evening to all professionals that are here, community leaders, comrades, and to my fellow leaders of Mayibuye consultation process. As our chairperson has rightly said, that tonight is not about speeches, but tonight we are here to listen to those who create, who innovate and build our nation every single day. We are here to engage the minds and the hearts that move this nation forward every day, often with no support, but with great determination. I must quote Thomas Sankara when he reminds us that we must dare to invent the future. And tonight we dare to do just that, with the people at the center, and that is you. We cannot move in this country without listening to the people. The people shall govern. That is what we are practicing. We are going back to the roots. Sibuyelembo. And dithenjwe ke apha into yoba mandizobulisa igqeba. Ndizonibonisa igqeba le Mayibuye consultation process. What deputy convener, Comrade Nwedo, who is also the president of Mawusa. Ndicela ubulise tata. Siphinde kwakhona sibulisa imbokodo le ibilapha our national chairperson Comrade Mabatho Makause. Une deputy yakhe naye asidlali abakuMayibuye imbokodo ziyakhokhela uSiphiwe Mkhatshwa. Siphinde kwakhona sibe nomama okhokhela omama uComrade Nonhlanhla Dlamini phakama bakubone. Siphinde kwakhona sibe no national coordinator uComrade Siphephile Mahlaba. Aphinde abe nesekela lakhe uComrade Lubelo, sorry. Sibe kunye ne fundraiser ezimbini. Siba ne fundraiser uComrade Tshepo Mahanuke. Siphinde kwakhona sibe no Comrade Menzwi Mangubane. Sine spokesperson ezimbini uComrade Sydney Baloyi phakama bakubone tata. Lobiko osendleleni ezayo noba ngangena at any time. Siphinde kwakhona sibe kunye no head of mobilization uComrade Mzwandile Goke. Sehambile, okay. Siphinde kwakhona sibe no national organizer uComrade Patrick Sindane. Okay, but sibe konya i-deputy yakhe uLinda Spires naye upha kwi-organizers as well. So sifuna ukuthi siyabulela ngokuthi nibe lapha as comrades. The comrades that I just introduced now have taken up the task of working with the people, not to go ahead of them. And tonight, they are here to hear your truth, your challenges, and your vision. Thank you very much.
The Mayibuye process. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have the second deputy coordinator of this process, Comrade Gabizile, who has a bereavement, he couldn't be with us. I'm now going to take this opportunity and welcome also Comrade Luther to come and co-facilitate this process with me. I have mentioned that we need to feel free to engage. This process is an interactive process. So we are going to note hands. Comrade Luther will come and assist me in noting hands, and let's just feel free. Let's feel free, comrades and ladies and gentlemen, to speak our minds. It doesn't have to be positive, just speak your minds. I'm going to again hand over back to the Deputy National Convener to fix something.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. You know, at Mayibuye, we are given to lead. So sometimes even our leader we forget because he just gives us to just go. You know, so I would like to introduce our national convener, the servant of the people, Comrade Floyd Shibambu.
Mayibuye, ya Afrika. Mayibuye, ya Afrika. No, thank you very much. We are here to listen, so I'm going to be sitting down to listen and be typing all the inputs that are going to be coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, National Convener. We have fixed the process. We have fixed it for the days. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to allow hands, an interactive process moving forward. We shall note hands and we will respond. I'm noting hands. That's number one. Can I have a microphone this side? May we finish with this row, but can I note hands? That's number one, Ndade, number two, and then number row. Then we are done with this row. Okay, 4, thank you. May we please introduce ourselves so that we know where you come from, who you are, and which constituency you are representing.
Mayibuye, yeah, Africa. I'd like to introduce Khosi Mampe from Bakataba, Macau, from the Northwest.
Let me thank the leadership for this important privilege and all the attendants of this national dialogue. In the beginning, it was just indicated that it is important to involve Amakosi, the royals, in such a big movement. It is definitely true. When the struggle began, it began with colonization. And the people who actually fought the colonizers were the Amakos. Some call them traditional leaders. But we call ourselves, we have recently decided to call ourselves the royals, because we do not allow ourselves to be called traditional leaders. We were there before we were defined. So we're not going to be defined by legislation that comes from room and touch law. But here is the fact. You have touched on a very important nerve that the Amakosi must be involved. But let me indicate from the beginning that Amakosi, the royals, the traditional leaders that you call them, they have so many organizations. Themselves, they are split. I belong to several organizations of the royals, the kingdoms. They are split. We will need to have a mechanism of uniting all organizations of Amakos, so that they can form one united front and be part of Mayibuye. Because without them, the struggle will definitely get lost. We know that the struggle was actually started by them. They contributed 100 cattle per a kingdom to fight the colonizers when they formed the African Natives National Congress. But it was later changed to ANC. That struggle is still on, and there is a court case that is going on, opened by His Royal Majesty King Litsitsa III and PECTA, Pan-Africanist Council of Traditional Leaders. They have opened the case that the ANC be returned to Amakosi. So this Mayibuye needs to go back and get all the relevant kingdoms so that they can form one united front of uniting Amakosi, so that going forward, we do not find the royals, the owners of the land, being split, because they will be used as the colonizers used them. I thank you.
Repairing. All right. Standing in front of you, Chairperson, is Ngonyama, transman, all the way from United States of Mtititi. But I'm currently residing here in Midrand. I'm standing here as I don't want to stand and seems like as if I'm representing a certain union, but I belong to Professional Educators Union. I'm an educator by profession. Leadership of Mayibuye, I felt very honored and privileged to be invited to come here so that we can engage. And I also felt it's very important that I raise two issues that I feel maybe Mayibuye will be our voice from teacher fraternity. You see, we have a lot of challenges, social challenges in our schools. And our government has failed us dismally. As I'm standing here today, we are having a lot of violence, and as educators, losing the battle from our schools. And we have a lot of policies that govern us, and there are also policies that govern learners. but our Department of Basic Education is failing to make sure that those policies are interpreted in a right way. And you see, that's why today we have a lot of SGBs in our schools that are very clueless. And they are also working hand in hand with some of our unions that are very ignorant, and they also bullying. And I don't want to be specific, but you will read along the lines. And again, I feel like Mayibuye, it's high time that, since you indicated, Chairperson, that people shall govern, it's high time that you make teachers to have voice in their schools. Because you stand in an authority de facto, but you are not managing that classroom, because there is a child at the back who feels that they are, or you are just wasting his or her time in that classroom. Another challenge that I feel Mayibuye must also have a look at it thoroughly is the issue of the curriculum. To be honest, we understand that these days we have a lot of paycheck collectors in our schools. If you are found to be implementing new ideas and you are not in leadership, you always become, or you always being victimized. Now, let me talk about the last point that I think Mayibuye can step in, and this symposium will also help, maybe going forward, to address the issue. The gap between the curriculum in secondary schools and in tertiary level. To be honest, today we are complaining about our unemployment rate at 60-something%, but our Department of Basic Education give our kids the curriculum that makes them to only focus on getting a job, whereas they are not creating ones. Another thing, there are streams at school level that are being introduced, and those streams, when you go to universities, they are not even recognized. Yet our learners, our kids, are continuing to be given these streams. Today we have subjects such as commercial subjects that are dying a natural death in our school, day by day. Yet the universities, they continue to register learners who are supposed to do teaching, specializing with accounting and or maybe commercial subjects. Where are they going to teach after they have completed their studies? It's a shame, because all of these things we have addressed it several times. I feel like the Mayibuye consultation process will be the vehicle to go out there and try to align our Department of Basic Education and also the Center for Higher Education with reality. Because if you can check based on facts, there are a lot of unemployed educators that are struggling to get employment because they did commercial subject, yet the universities are continuing to register them. Thank you so much.
I think number 3 is this side.
Thank you so much to the leadership of Mayibuye. Standing in front of you is a young entrepreneur from Pretoria. I go by the name of Alan. Alan Ledwaba.
Sorry, just reintroduce yourself a bit fast.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to the leadership of Mayibuye. I go by the name of Alan Ledwaba. I'm a young entrepreneur from Pretoria, and I felt that it was quite important that I should come through and actually share what I have on the table. I'm a 30-year-old entrepreneur. I've never worked a day in my life because every time I was getting a job, I was chunked out. But at this point in time, I've done quite a lot of things. I've graduated under agriculture, farmer by profession. I went all out trying to look for land. I've approached all the banks to do commercial farming, but we know land is quite a serious issue in South Africa. We don't have the land. And Comrade Fred Shibambo, I'm going back to you to say, let's continue sing and get our land back, which is the first point. Second point is that after one had failed in this business, is going up and down approaching banks, I realized that I need to take a little bit of money that I have and actually invest it into a money-making scheme that can actually grow me to get that 5 million and invest in the business. A lot went wrong. We've went through courts. We've approached every, you talk about the NPA, we were there. You talk about SAPS, we were there. And I'm giving you guys a glimpse of my life because I want you guys to understand that I had brushed a little bit with the law as a victim. And that's how I could see how corrupt SAPS is, how corrupt the NPA is, and how corrupt some of our courts can be. Let's also know that. Moving furthermore, I've went, after winning cases, went furthermore and went into the automotive industry. I'm sure some of you guys might know that in a farm, there's a workshop. So we do agricultural engineering. So if you speak about a vehicle, I know X, Y, and Z, the stuff I can fix there. So that's how I actually went into the automotive industry. We got contracts from SAPS. We've been fixing government vehicles. But we have resided into a property that is owned, or rather that is coordinated by a entity called Northwest Development Corporate, NWDC. It has been a pain in the neck because ever since we went into those properties, we've lost electricity, we've lost water, we've lost everything you can think of. The property at this point in time is not conducive. Just to take you guys a little bit back, you might know that Babelehi was employing over 50,000 people. That's 50,000 individuals. And we know one family is an average of 5 people. So that infrastructure of Babelehi was at least feeding 250,000 people over the past years when I was still growing up. But at this point in time, we are employing at least 500. Let's look at the gap. And moreover, there's a transition that should happen from the Northwest Corporate to Tshwane. And in that midst of the transition, I must say that there are individuals that were working for NWDC before. They are taking advantages of the properties. They are molesting tenants. They are trying to get as much money as possible from these people illegally. When the properties there are not conducive for business, we don't have electricity, we are losing our contracts. Because our landlord, he claims that he's our landlord, but he's not putting a platform for us as business people to practice in a proper way. So I also wanted you guys to look into that. But furthermore, just to not waste time, not only do I want the Mayibuye team to focus onto these issues that we're all going to be outlaying, but I, for one, am putting myself to say that I also am willing to drive this ship into the right direction. Because a leader is a leader that creates other leaders and never followers. If you say you are a leader, but you only have followers, you are a celebrity. You are not a leader. You might as well open a TikTok account and do TikTok dances. For us here, I'm saying as a young person, I'm not going to send the leadership of Mayibuye alone. I'm putting my hand up and saying, let's move forward as a united black force and take what is ours. Let's take the land back. Let's take the factories back. Let's support the SMEs so that we can have a better future. Remember, not only government will create sufficient jobs for us, we also need private sector to compensate so that we can have a powerful GDP. Mandla.
Back there.
Sanibona. Igama uDumsani isibongo undoda. Mina ngibuya kuLokhuza, I'm a community leader. So ngithanda ubonga ithuba echair. Ngibonge iMayibuye ngayo le process ethe yayivula for i-community khona ukuthi icho into ezidingayo for i-country esiphila kuyo. Njengoba ngisisho ngisithi ngibuya emphakathini, angibuyi kuma institutions. Ngibuya kwindawo lana abantu abafila suffering. When you talk about suffering, you must go and reflect that to the communities. So njengoba ngilana ngithema ngiphakame njengelungu lomphakathi, iMayibuye yazi ukuthi yini esifisa ukuthi ngasenzela yona siwumphakathi. Sihluphe kakhulu leadership yeMayibuye. So into esingafisa ukuthi nisenzele yona, if you decide today ukuthi form iLokhuza organization, one of the things that we feel ukuthi iyasicindezela kakhulu is the constitution. If iMayibuye ingakwazi ukuthi ichange constitution, because suffering the corruption it allows by the very same constitution. Into sizoyicela iMayibuye ukuthi kuna revolution eyashiya abobaba uKhrisani, abobaba uSobukwe, that revolution is not complete. So into sizoyicela lana ukuthi iMayibuye ayiqhube iqedelele that revolution, that true revolution, so that as a South African black child, sisho sithi freedom sitholile, the complete freedom, because all the formation that we have today, we can see good is the creator, the fat cats that are oppressing the very same black poor people that they pretended that they represent. So sicela ukuthi iMayibuye ibhekelele iconstitution ukuthi constitution might change. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much. Then it will be the last hand. No, I think that side we are done. So we'll take hands. Sorry? Oh, okay. Come in, my brother.
Good evening. Repair Minjani. Nkon. So my name is Big Sotwani. I'm from Malamulele. I was born there, but I came to Joburg 2013 just to get the opportunities to change the life of poverty. So, not to waste your time, I'm the founder and director of a company called Pro Bono Maintenance Project. So it's an umbrella to 4 trades, which is electrical, standby generators, solar systems, and we do water technology. So on this, we aim at collaborating, because it's not easy to get opportunities to showcase our skills and knowledge in this country, more especially from youth. So what's happening is that how we want Mayibuye to help us is that some gradings when it comes to bidding of the tenders, when it comes to the CIDB gradings, it's like the experience of the graduates that are coming from the varsities. So it's quite difficult actually for us to participate in certain projects. So Mayibuye would like Mayibuye to actually help us in finding a way to help us collaborate with certain companies to reach the certain gradings to qualify us in participating in certain projects. Number 2, it seems like technical schools in South Africa are not given opportunities as students that are coming from the universities. I would like Mayibuye to actually assist us in that, because some people are actually technically gifted. They can't really be consultant who can do the calculations and do the drawings and everything. So the third one, which will be the last, there's a lot of youth in the townships that are gifted, they are mechanics. Most of us here, we take our cars to them, but they are not qualified. Yeah, so those are one of the factors that we would like to actually tackle going forward, because not everyone affords coming to Joburg from the villages, but their parents were mechanics, they were electricians, but they are stuck where they are. They don't know, they don't have the directions to actually go where they want to be in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We should be done that side. I see there is a hand. I saw you raised your hand. So we're going to take you as number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and we'll end with number 5 for this group. Thank you very much. In that sequence.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andisiwe Ramorake. I'm a businesswoman and I work with agriculture, specializing in horticulture. I deal with agro-processing and agribiz. I would just like for Mayibuye to please continue, as the young gentleman has said, to harness the fact of, push the fact of black people in this country retaining regaining their land, because we struggle a lot as farmers to be able to initiate businesses, especially when you're meant to be able to export things to other countries, even African countries. So I really want us to really stress on fighting for our land. I'm willing to support this party and be part of it if it means that we're gonna be able to gain our land back as black people, not that we have to rent land to be farmers that create food for the people and create food for communities, etc. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 2.
Melang. Special greetings to the leadership of Mayibuye and everyone who responded to the call. My name is Tisetso Ntsiye. I'm a health professional by profession. I've served in private sector, providing health services, and also in public sector. And I believe that there are obviously issues that everyone is aware of in terms of health services in the country. And I believe that Mayibuye Africa, it can be a vehicle that will assist in addressing the health issues, both in private sector and also in the public sector. You know, just to name a few things, I'm sure you've seen now the recently released report in terms of how medical aids treat black people. You know, a whole lot of practices have closed, and unfortunately, those practices provide, you know, financial backing to families, you know, but not only families, but also provision of health services to the communities that can afford private, expensive medical services with big corporate facilities like Abo Mediclinic and all of that. Now, in terms of public also, there are a whole lot of issues there. We have young, qualified professionals who manage to struggle through the lengthy training of the years that are required for them to become health professionals, only to find themselves unemployed. But, you know, the contradiction with that is when you go to the rural areas, you find that there are health institutions, but they do not have sufficient health professionals to be employed to be able to provide those services. So young people are there, qualified, they need to be given opportunities to be able to serve communities, especially in the villages. I had the privilege to be serving there. But not only that, hospitals, clinics, especially in the villages, are dilapidating, under the watch of the current government. And that in itself renders services unavailable to people that are desperately needing the services and that are destitute. So I believe that Mayibuye can provide a vehicle to assist in that regard. I'm glad that already there is an initiative that has already started by the Mayibuye medics, and I believe that through obviously their guidance and the leadership and support of the organization itself, we should be able to fight this fight and ensure that services are provided all across the country, especially in the villages where there is a desperate need for that. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
No, I think it's yeah. No. The gentleman here. You'll come, my chief, don't worry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, leadership. Mayibuye. My name is Nick Mabunda. I run Vuyo's restaurant, Vilakazi Street, running since 2018. So I just want to thank this opportunity to be here with this leadership here, Mayibuye. There are two things I just want to voice quickly so that we also give other a chance. Education and agriculture. Those are the two things that I would love for Mayibuye really to dig deep into that. Question for everyone. Since 1994 till today, regardless of the political parties that we have, how many black ministers did we have since 1994 till today? Regardless of the party. Who you can say he or she have run this institution for 5 to 10 years before becoming a minister or deputy minister. Since 1994, I don't know any. So that tells you we don't have institutional experience. We don't have experience to run institutions. Now you see the type of entrepreneurs we have, the type of grabs around and corruption, maybe partly is because we don't know how to run this thing. Imagine you don't know how to run an institution. Now you are in charge of so much money and have got so much power. So that can only create chaos. So part of the chaos we see now is because we don't have proper people who can run proper institutions properly. So my issue now touches to what is Mayibuye going to do with the education system so that we create people who can run institutions. Because that's where one of our problems is. Number two, agriculture. I also wanted to have a farm like my young fellow. I'm 45 now. At least I'm 15 years your senior, but I'm still struggling. When I went to inquire about this place, I was given a price tag here, 7.5 million rand. I don't have that type of money. So now they will ask you, you need to obviously collateral, you need to have assets. In other words, you need to have the 7.5 million rand to get funding for 7.5. So the reason why you need funding is because you don't have the funds. But the way it's constructed right now, it's like you can't get into farming if you don't have the funds. So now, as that child, my issue to Mayibuye is, can we have a framework on the agricultural part to say, if let's assume we wake up tomorrow and the land is all in the hands of black people. Mayibuye is being the custodian of that right now. What are we going to do? To distribute the land to those that who need it. What's the framework are we going to have? Because it's one thing to say, let's get the land. We can get it, and then what? If we get the land and it doesn't work, then people will be saying, oh yeah, you went and took land, now you have become some Zimbabwe again. So we need to have a framework to say, if we take the land, what are we going to do? What is the plan? And a poor child like my brother, if he wants to farm, what must he do even if he doesn't have work? You see this place where we are right now. Imagine if this place has been running for 50 years and there's a manager who has been running this place, let's say for 20 years, and is a black person. Definitely that person doesn't have millions to start his coffee shop. But this person has been running this place for 20 years, from planning to training to budgeting and looking after employees. That manager of this place, if he goes and say, I want to have a coffee shop somewhere in Casworld, and they'll say, okay, we want R1 million from you. Where is this manager going to get R1 million? Where is he going to get it? So now, I want Mayibuye to look at this, and I'm also volunteering for it. I also want to be part of this big time, because I see the ceiling that's put on the black child. Whatever you do, if you don't have the means, you don't have the money, you can't even start from somewhere. You need to breathe from a bag somewhere, and you are bottled. And that pushes most of our people into corruption and other things that are untoward. So those are the two things that I need really Mayibuye to look at: farming and the type of education that we have. It pains me to say, since 1994, I don't know any minister, correct me if I'm wrong and educate me. I don't know anyone. You can say this black minister before becoming Minister of Communications, he ran Vodacom MTN for 5-10 years, and it was successful under him. This guy, it's a minister or deputy minister of finance. Oh yeah, he ran FNB for 10-20 years. He understands finance. No one for 30 years. That's a shame on all of us. So I would love Mayibuye to check on this so that we find a way of how do we harness our power as black people. It's one thing to say, let's go and take this and take this, but what are we going to do after it? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Amos Mbiza. Let me take this time to greet and to salute the national convener, Mr. Shiwambu, the royals, the professionals, and the entrepreneurs that are here. The question is, do we need another political party? I think that's a question that has been in many people's thoughts. And I would say yes. I'm a pastor, and I'm a businessman. I play in the medical device space. I get to speak with a lot of people, not only here, but around the world. Why do we need a political party? Oh, why do we need another political party? Oh, okay, sorry. Why do we need another political party? I think we need one because the ones that we currently have are not listening to the people. I interact with the youth across the nation, and I've seen youth entrepreneurs that their voices are not listened to. I run an organization called Economic Leadership Congress, and as I engage with the young people, you can see the frustration, lack of funding. I don't know if government is doing enough. We can tell here we are entrepreneurs ourselves. But I think there's despondence, frustration, a lack of hope in many young people. So, as you heard, my colleague over here, he has struggled to really break through, even though I believe he has done so by himself, probably with the help of few people that really listen to his vision. If we continue like this, then our country, our nation is not going anywhere. So I think the collective here, the leadership, I would say yes to a political party that will listen to the voice of the youth, that will inspire young people to do business, to create wealth for themselves, for their children. I can't even talk about the Nyaupes, whatever how we refer to them, but it's not supposed to be like that. I think a narrative can be changed in that area. Number two, I feel really, this is also close to my heart, it will be the issue of race. I get to be in different nations around the world as a speaker, as a strategist as well. When I look back to our country, I realized that our brand is not the way it should be. You go to UAE, when they see us, they laugh at us. You go to India, America, everywhere. It seems as if our politics are politics of, I don't know, maybe of the stomach, that we just focus on fighting each other in terms of race. Can there be a political party that goes beyond race? I know we're black people, but I think we need to go beyond just the race into building a nation, just one nation. I think there's a way we can engage to make sure that whatever happened in the past can be readdressed. But I think we need wisdom beyond just the way we've been running politics. Number two, or rather three, it will be tribalism. This tribalism is still huge in this country. Mr. Bamba, how can we really go beyond tribalism and tribalistic ideologies and mindset? You go to Dubai, you find 2.5 million people. 10% are Emiratis, that the owners of the land. Just 10%. And the rest are experts coming from all over the world. Look at what they've built. Here we got so much. We can do a whole lot. You know, but I have to tell you, I'm Zulu, I'm Tsonga, I am that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a pastor by calling. But I think we need to go beyond this tribalistic working together because we're that and that and that. I think we should go beyond that. The last thing will be, sorry for taking your time. I don't know what will be your view, how do we look at that going forward? But there's a need for a new political party. The last will be religion. Where I'm in UAE, or I'm in Hong Kong, or America anyway, they're not centered around this is a Muslim, this is a Christian. I'm a Christian man. But I work with friends that I work with all over the world who are Hindus, who are Muslims, who are Jewish and all that. Can we really go beyond, we'll do the evangelism separately in our own corners. Instead of saying, okay, I'm a Christian, therefore I can't work with you, you're a Muslim. Or that. I think we have not gone beyond that. So yes to a political party, but is this the platform? Is Mayibuye the right political party that can take all of us forward? And that's my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. A hand here. Here. And this gentleman looks familiar, but
no, thanks. The session. Igama usibusiso given Valashia, the founding member of Ndasu, a new trade union which is a breakaway from now. We must also appreciate that in the leadership, Ndasu, National Democratic and Servants Workers Union. We must also appreciate that amongst the leadership of Mayibuye, we also have the president of a trade union in Mausa. We really appreciate, because also that is going to assist us. And we are sure that it will also speak to the question or the challenges that were raised earlier on by the comrade representing professional teachers. We think that that area, maybe let's start it like this for purposes of the president. Currently, 74% of workers in South Africa are unorganized, meaning they do not belong to unions. It's 26%. Now, the existence of all trade unions, they are fighting for 26%. In that 26%, you already know, many of them have already have their hearts broken by the ruling party, which is aligned with COSATU, which is supposed to be protecting workers, which makes your work even easier as Mayibuye in terms of targeted focus on what we want to change, especially at the workplace struggle. That is very important. Because the question whether we should have another political party, I think we've long passed that stage. Reality is that we need to have another political party, but a different political party from the current ones that we are having. That's what we should be debating. And some of the inputs that we want to put forth is that we must learn from these other formations, because it's easy to say others are now a cult and all these things. But what have we learned out of it? So that we don't create the same mistakes when we go forward. Because part of it is that in the new formation in Mayibuye, we must also avoid the battle of tribalism. Now, if we also look at our political system now, it's starting to create parties that are based on tribalism or some class formation, not all of us. So we should move away from that. In fact, if there's one thing that we must do, our leadership must be bold enough and be clear to speak against those things. So that at the ground level, we don't associate Mayibuye with a certain groupings, because that's how we're going to lose all of us. That's why some of us, as much as we are Zulus, we did not go to MK, because we knew the founding principles of it. It was based on 100% Zulu boy. So we couldn't associate ourselves with that. So we are not shocked when we hear some leaders there, maybe Zabanya Bantu Ngamashangan. We're not shocked, because that thing was there before. So from us, when we start now, we must start to be clear around that part. We must also look at, currently now, South Africa has a crisis in terms of youth unemployment. And as the new formation, if there's one area that we must, capitalize on, it's becoming an alternative voice to young people, specifically the youth that is unemployed. We already know there are metros that we must, if we come into, when we agree, in fact, the leadership, if they decide to now announce that we are forming a political party, one of the things that we must push for, it's industrialization of some of our metros. as part of an alternative of creating employment. There are many metros that are already ready, but there is no will in those who are governing those metros. Lastly, we want to, as part of contribution, we want to say that Mayibuye leadership must start now, creating a profile of a type of a public servant that we want to deploy. Singayenzi uma sesikhethiwe, because it's going to be a crisis. So that we start now attracting the right people. Singazothi abantu mesebe phakathi bese sithi sesimdeployile lapha eParliament khona sithi siyenza i-skills audit. So umdeployed is creating a crisis and you want to do a skills audit. So we must learn from the past so that we create a better future for all of us under Mayibuye. So let's create that profile so that even voters themselves, when they hold us accountable, at least they are clear on what they are holding us accountable on. And not when we deploy, umuntu angabi surprised, masithi you do not meet that scorecard that we've given you as a public servant. So we must be clear also on that part. So it shouldn't be negotiable, the issue of having a clear profile when it comes to public servants deployments. So the issues that were raised by my comrade here, if the ANC was clear and it stayed to those policies, we wouldn't be having a crisis of ministers that do not comply. So I think ANC mistake in that. Sit deploy for the sake of ukuthi abantu are giving us votes. We know, comrades, he who feeds you controls you. So Nati, we must be bold enough. I think that's what Thomas Sankara teaches us. Not we should be bold enough as leaders there, be able to hold each other accountable. Singaze ke siyotoyitoya ke ku comrade Nyiko. Sithi kanti lo waye ungamxoshi omunye khona manje can't convene the nation. You had to take him long to get rid of a minister who's corrupt. So nothing, we don't want that there. So we should be able to hold each other accountable. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll move. I must confess, national convener, that I used to be the chief negotiator for SARS, and this man used to be the chief negotiator for Nahau. But he was not listening to management. That's all I want to say. We'll take hands on this platform. I'm also looking for Abo Mama, because in my way process, we are very particular. Number one, it'll be, let me just raise the hand again, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9. Because the hands are growing, I'll want us to be sharp to the point, ne comrades. Thank you, you can hit.
Amandla, comrades. Amandla. Oh, ngathi akekho. Okay, my name is Chifiwa Rabaka. I'm an associate of medics. I'm a healthcare profession, but now I'm fully functional in private. So what I want to say is just to thank. Is there something you want to say? Oh, okay. Okay, all I want to say is that thank you for the opportunity. I've always been looking for an opportunity to make contributions, but I never had one. So that's why I say Mayibuye must be a political party. We are not consulting anymore. Tina, we want you. I had also my share of the side of the professional, and I know that there was poor representation when it comes to issues of the workers. But I will break it down bit by bit, right? So now, I just want to preamble on certain issues that when we come to Mayibuye, let's come to contribute to improve the daily living of our people. We shouldn't come with the ambition to want to lead or to be deployed to parliament. Because what we know is that comrades, when they see a new political party, they look as an opportunity of employment. So, can we not come with that view of saying we want to be employed, we want to lead? I'm sure someone have already pictured themselves in parliament already wearing a suit. So let's run away from that, because that's what creates functionalism. Because now I want that leader to enter to parliament. But now we must look at politics. We must look at enriching our people, right? And also, when we are in plenary here, we must discuss ideas so that we find each other, not an idea that supersedes of another one. You must not present an idea just to make sure that the other one looks like they don't have enough ideas. We must be a community so we improve whatever that we're trying to do, right? Yeah. So now, I'm going to talk about professionals. So what I was saying is that we need a structure that is going to represent us in different spheres, right? So now, we have different bodies. You have I will speak on the body which is HPCSA, which is where I belong to, but we need to have all different bodies, right? And then now, everyone when they speak of the poor, every part, the poor must get this, the poor must get this, but who's speaking for the working class? Because the working class is just 1 minute away from being fired to be poor. But no one speaks about them. Now, let's talk about if you are victimization at work. Niao has lost relevance. It doesn't represent the worker. It also, if we were to talk about Niao, it will represent the workers that are like let's say in the hospital. Don't represent more of the health workers, but the ones that are working in the hospital, your cleaner, your groundsman. But where is the working class been covered? Secondly, the working class has been suffering with a lot of issues, like if we were to look at the working class, there is an issue of Investec, right? You have Investec that gives you 8% of interest rate because you're a professional, which they target certain professionals. But if you are not belonging to the Investec, it means that you must go to ABSA. ABSA gives you a 13% interest rate, while there's other banks that gives you 8%. Why don't we look at the issue where we have a standardized interest rate for all the workers? Because everyone is working and everyone is contributing. And also, there is also an issue that has been worrying me. Why is that when you invest, they give you less interest, but when you borrow, you get more interest? Why don't we find a way to regulate that for the working class? I will emphasize on the working class, but not that I do not have passion for the poor. I still have it, but today it's for professionals and entrepreneurs. On another plenary, I'll give a view about the... Okay. Now, also, if you look at the private entities, your discovery, mostly in IT, you find that they work mostly for private companies. They are enforced, or they are forced to choose on specific medical aid to say, you must use Discovery. Mostly they are using Discovery, right? Now, what has Discovery done for the mere black people while our people are contributing every month? Why don't we have a party that goes and negotiate with the private sector to establish a medical aid that can be an option as well in the private sector? Why should it be Discovery? Because it's extremely expensive, and also it's racist to the doctors who are practicing privately. So in line of that, we should also look in that line. I'm just going to try to cut it short, but I just have a lot of ideas. Okay. Also, if you look at the government sector, they are using interns and students. You find if you go to hospitals, there are interns and students running everyday clinic. Because why? They don't want to employ. If you go to Mpumalanga, the whole region is ran by ComServe with one permanent person. Why don't we look into that and regulate a rule to say, a hospital to stand, it needs to have at least 7 doctors or 10 doctors employed permanently, rather than to just have ComServes running around, overworked, and being sidelined and being victimized, because they overwork them. So also, another issue, I feel like I have to, you know. Also, on another issue, okay, I have said that for you to be a working class, you need to come from the university. Now, we are also experiencing a very difficulty with the representation of black people in the universities. Tell me one predominantly black university that produces an actual scientist. None. Because you can't tell me UP. No, UP is predominantly white. If we look at UCT, predominantly white. Now, we have been always being sidelined. I think the former Liberation Party only just took power, just to enjoy state power, just to enjoy blue lights and giving their friends tenders. But it has never done anything for the people of the working class, as I can tell you now. Also, the other thing.
Maybe the last one, my chief.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe let me make this intervention. By the time we leave here, we'll give you an email address, because I know professionals like to write very complicated. So we'll give you an email address where you have an opportunity to even submit.
It's fine. It's
views.
fine. It's fine.
So yeah.
I know I can be very mouthful. So, okay, I'm just gonna go to the end. Have established the medics. It shouldn't be only be limited to screening people. We need to have, this body needs to go out there. We have a body which is called HPCSA, which we paid for it to charge us. It has nothing to do to protecting us from the patients. If they assault you, there's nothing they do. So I just feel like with this vehicle, we can able to create a structure that can represent health workers. Not only groundsmen, but we can have a structure that can represent the workers when they have grievances or any problem. Now we have high unemployment of health professionals now because there is no opportunities. It doesn't only end here, the medics. Let's talk about, if we were to go to the medical aid, the victimization for black professionals, I can tell you we have been victims. It's just that we always win because we can speak for ourselves. But what happens to those ones who don't speak for themselves? They end up in trouble. So this vehicle, I am very grateful that it was founded. And I have always attributed to them that we are not going to end with screening. We'll take it forward. And last one. Last one. I'm saying, if you are having med clinic and net care admitting people who are using gems as part of the contribution from government, why are they not giving bursaries to our students who are in university? Thank you.
Thank you very much for the contributions. You'll write us, you'll put that in writing so that we capture it properly, because it's very
And I would like to thank the chair of the session. Comrade Floyd, we have been looking forward for you to come up with what is happening today. And my name is Albert Moyana. I'm the chairperson of Nehau branch for National Department of Justice. And my comrades from Dasu, I'm very happy because he's the one who brought me back to work. I was suspended for standing for the workers. So, comrades, I will start with the issue of workforce because I think we have to be direct and to the point. My favorite from Dasu, I think you are aware of workforce representation has lost touch with the workers. So, Comrade Floyd, there's a need for a new party, which will actually revive that issue, to make sure at last we have, trade unions or national unions, which will be fully representing the workers. I will just give one practical example so that I'm short and direct and to the point. If you look now, because of the fact that most of our trade unions are affiliates of the ruling party, somewhere, somehow are conflicted. That is why I'm saying when I see the comrade from Daswa, very happy because he knows why I was suspended. So you find that if you raise workers' issues as a shop steward or as a chairperson, then what happened, you'll be victimized, and then when you stand for the workers, you'll find that your grievances or whatever those was actually said is correct. But just because you have your fellow comrades either in parliament or in all those institutions, obviously they will actually conspire, then you end up being victimized for representing the workers. So in essence, I'm trying to say that with this new initiative, it's very crucial to ensure that if ever Mayibuye end up being a political party, you must make sure you are not conflicted. If ever the workers come with grievances, let's make sure their interest comes first. Not issue or no comrade Banbani is related to whoever or is close to another ally, so his case will end up being compromised. So that's what normally happens currently with the current union formations. And then secondly, it simply means most of the people end up being unfairly dismissed or actually put under suspicions, you see. So I think with the new formation, I'm very happy because Dasu is here. You will hear what I'm saying and you take it into consideration. And number two, learnerships, the internships. You know what's happening now with the appointment. I think leadership, you remember that I'm the one who was representing the workforce at Sasita from 2018 up until last year, since you know those problems they are having with the seat. So what I can say need to happen there, you know these skills development or learnerships are either for 18 or 24 months. Then after that 24 months, what happened to these learners? Nothing. They end up being unemployed. So I think Mayibuye must come up with a mechanism whereby you find that we've got a lot of companies in South Africa. At the end of the day, we must make sure when those learners complete their learnership or internship programs, the companies, we've got, for example, professionals here who are owning companies. We must make sure some of them absorb those people depending on their skills. So currently, that is why you find that when they finish their learnership, they will be waiting for another learnership. You see, instead of being absorbed into a real work environment. So I think Mayibuye must also look at that mechanism where after these youth have been exposed to the learnership programs or internship, then what? Because they can't depend on learnerships forever. They need to be employed. So, and another that realistic, whatever courses they actually study, whether it's TVET related or university related, are they adding value? Or we are just studying for the sake of having graduations? So you see, we also need to look at those issues. Are these people employable after they complete now? So that's one lesson I've learned from the sitters. And then lastly, the creative industry. Creative industry, if you look, Comrade Floyd, most of our comrades benefited a lot, but especially those who are in parliament. I will give an example with the music industry and the acting part. You find that there are a lot of funding which are actually advertised annually by either Sports Arts and Culture, National Arts Council, and all those things. And who are benefiting from those things is the politicians. And if you check, most of the artists didn't go to school because it's just a natural talent. And then they apply for the fund. Whoever has got political connections will apply for that funding. Then they outline, or artist so and so will get 50,000 or 30, whatever. And in real sense, those people are not getting those monies. You'll find that maybe they will give them 5,000, 2,000. Because remember, they didn't see the proposal. So in short, I'm trying to say the most exploited industry in South Africa, and which was actually supposed to add more value, is the creative industry. But now on face value, you'll find that when their music or whatever, if it's acting, it's still booming. They appear or they are there. But if you look in a long run, 5 years down the line, if ever that particular person passed on, that's when you realize, or no, they were just using those people as cover up for them to make money. So I'm saying, Mayibuye, to me, it's a political party. You see, even though we're still in the consultation process, because I want Mayibuye to close those gaps I outlined in my short explanation. Number one, the workforce representation. That's who you are hearing what I said, that the workforce representation has lost touch with the workers. And then number two, learnership programs must not just be seen where if ever I'm a politician, I know I will be saving a debt seater, getting the allowances. Then after the allowances, are those skills and development or training adding value to the learners now? So those are the things we need to look at.
Sure.
And then lastly, as I said, you need to look at the creative industry. The creative industry in countries like America, that's the largest contribution to the economy. And then most of the artists which actually add value, it's from Africa. But now their products come back home as import and whatever. So if ever everything, our political leadership can make sure everything starts from here at home. And then I think that can add value. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll be giving over to the chair here. She's firing me because I'm not doing a good job. But comrades, in that, get to the point so that everybody gets an opportunity. It's already 8 o'clock in the evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lula. I'm happy to hear that amongst professionals, entrepreneurs, there's also comrades. It's a good sign that we didn't brace this cold for nothing. We came here to interact. And it's a very good sign that indeed, as Mayibuye, we are on the right track. Comrades and ladies and gentlemen, are we done here? I'm going to encourage that beautiful ladies in the house, let's speak up. We do not have spokespersons appointed for ourselves. Let's speak up and let's hear your views, both in professional and entrepreneurial environment. Can I have a microphone here? We're still on this row. I'm going to come that side. Thank you very much.
Inkosi kakhulu ndiyabulela ukufumana ixesha. Ibitira mina i-Brilliance Sibuyi. So I use Xhosa and Tsonga so that it speaks to what my leader was talking about. I come from an organization called the Bombo Investment Group as the founder and the executive chairman of that group. So for me it's very brief. I will say all protocols observed. I think there's a colleague coming from the education space. He mentioned something about the education system or the schooling system. So indeed, I've got first-hand experience of the gap between that. Just about 2 or 3 days ago, there's a one fellow that I went to UJ with for civil engineering. So I wanted to invite him. So he's unemployed, currently enrolled for his honors degree. I wanted to invite him for a project to say, look, Mchana, come here. There's an opportunity, you can at least get something. And then I asked him a simple question, what can you do? This is the scenario, this is the scope of the project. What can you do in this project? Then he told me that, look, actually, I know how to run Excel, I can prepare documents, and that was very disheartening to see somebody that I sat next to when we wrote exams, not really knowing what needs to be done in the project, like in real term. So unfortunately, we could not take him because with his honors degree that he's pursuing is irrelevant to what is needed on the ground. So I say this, that I think as this new formation, it will be of critical importance that we find a way in which we can empower those that are within the education system, because education is very important and very key. But we need to empower them to can be able to address the economic issues without have to go and work, because unfortunately, currently we are stuck with a system which people graduate to dependency and not to economic independency. So you graduate and you still have got 5 years of being unemployed because you cannot employ yourself. So as I conclude, I stand here with carrying, I think at my, maybe I'm just a couple of years younger than the brother there, who said he's 30 years, but at my late 20s years, I carry over 60 traditional leaders at the back of my shoulders with the kind of projects that we do, because basically what we do is we work in the rural spaces, in the rural communities. So I have got over 60 traditional leaders who they come every day from our engagements to say, look, Sibuyi, we need this that you are talking about. Please, can you do something? So when you have got traditional leaders who are old enough to can be your grandfather, then that says...
As we wrap up.
Oh, the royals. So that says that indeed there is a vacuum in what needs to be done on the ground, basically in the rural communities. And you know, with the little experience, I've come to realize that it's in the rural communities or in the rural areas where there is currently more economic opportunities than what we have now in the urban areas. So I would like to propose and call upon everyone who is part of us. I am a proud volunteer of this process and what is to unfold, what is to come from these engagements. Will be at the forefront, not for the gains, but for the sake of the next generations and the generations that are to come. I want to propose that as we go to the ground, let's not go to the ground with political slogans. Let's go to the ground with tangible, let's go to the ground with tangible and practical actions. When we speak of job creation, those of us who are in the entrepreneurial space, let's create more opportunities and platforms for those that do not have or are not privileged enough to be at the that we are in to can create those opportunities. The last thing is, I take pride to be one of the very few that penetrated in the industry that is for a selected few in the society, the aviation industry. You probably would have heard of the FYC and an airport in Limpopo at Guyana. Some classify it as a controversial airport, but that speaks to what we can do if we speak beyond or we see beyond what we are given in the classrooms to say, define brilliance Sibuyi, and then you say brilliance Sibuyi is defined as. So with that said, colleagues, I would like to say, let also as the entrepreneurs and different professions, let's support this initiative, let's support this process with everything that we have, with the little that we can be able to contribute for the sake of those that are hopeless, for the sake of those that do not know what tomorrow holds for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to request that we become brief. We are doing well in terms of time, but let's be brief, to the point, to our questions. My sisters raised hands there. I'm going to have to skip you to give over to the... Can I get one of the ladies? I'm going to come back to you, my brother. I'm not unfair like that. Thank you.
Chair. Thank you, Chair. Evening, everyone. Evening, leadership of the Mayibuye Consultation process. My name is Unati Taimani. I am a professional in the accounting auditing space. I specialize in forensics, anti-corruption, fraud, those kind of fun things. My first comment is to thank the Mayibuye Consultation process, because in my profession, we do not associate with politicians. We are apolitical, we are neutral. So this is a platform for some of us, especially those who are in the anti-corruption and anti-fraud space, to be heard. As a professional, number one, let's look at professionalization of the public service, particularly in the local government space. Number two, being a professional comes with having certain codes of conduct, certain behavior that is expected from you. And you know that if you're a doctor and you become unethical, we will take away your accreditation, or if you're an accountant and so forth. So as we go forward as professionals into our different professions, thank you for considering our inputs. And I will be also giving my inputs via email as to how we can strengthen our anti-corruption fight. I always say in South Africa, we don't have a revenue problem, we have an expenditure problem. We have a lot of leakages, especially as a public financial specialist myself. I see a lot of this. I've investigated a lot of cases where politicians are involved, in 90% of them, in collusion with professionals and entrepreneurs. So my last bit is to say thank you to the leadership for consulting with us, because we do not have a voice when it comes to politicians. We do not attend political rallies or meetings, but this we can attend and give input. So that will be my 2 cents. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. There was a beautiful lady who raised her hand right where you are. Yes, right in front of you. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Busi Selesho. I'm from the School of Entrepreneurship for Women. And one of the things that we have been struggling with is finding women that are capable of receiving funding. We've been able to work very hard and get a good funding, private funding, but we do not have women that are capable of running businesses that can be able to receive those funds. So this is a process that probably can open doors for a lot of ladies that have ideas but do not have funding. But of course, there is a whole lot of work that has to be done to make them be able to be in a position to receive that. So thank you so much. I'll also love to send an email and share some thoughts around these ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May we get back here to this row so that we finish it off. I've noted 3 hands, 4, 5. I'll come back there.
Good evening, comrades. My name is Tau Mahlatsi. I'm a social worker by profession. I won't get deep into the unemployment in our industry or the harsh conditions that we work in. But I will just add on what my brother has said. I'm taking it that I'm being consulted. Number one, I fully agree with the point that we form a political organization. We are in need of one. And my question to the leadership is that, is the name Mayibuye an official or something that is still yet to be consulted and discussed maybe in the future? That is number one. Number two, with the criteria that is going to be added for the leadership that is going to be deployed in any position in government, we also need to start to formulate or train each and every member of this organization or of this political organization, if it goes to that point, with leadership skills, and also to be trained with how the government runs, because it is very important that each and everyone knows that in this organization. And again, I would like this organization to also advocate for sleepless economy. That is one of the things that I want this organization to push for. And again, I want this organization to be open to seeing other professionals who are qualified and specialized in certain things that are outside political organizations. If we are to make this organization a political party, we should be able to see that, no man, Tau is very good, or Zbaniban is very good in this and that. Can we take his skills and put him there as an organization that have won elections? Because there are many people who are apolitical, like my lady now who just spoke, but we can identify those individuals outside this organization, so that we show people that we are not only consumed by internal politics, but we can also look outside and appreciate those individuals who are doing good in government and also in private sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dumsan. I'm the financial advisor by profession. And my concerns are that, Chairperson, one, the industry that we are at, it is not transformed. And for the fact that it is not formed, I could hear most of the professionals are complaining about discovery. And I'm one of the advisors who give advice on discovery. And another thing is that I can hear that they're complaining about the medical aid, but they don't even complain about the malpractice, the expensiveness about the malpractice. Now, the other thing that I wanted to raise, it is the education part. There are big institutions like UNISA. They don't accommodate us as financial advisors or financial planners. Now, UNISA does not have the curriculum for us as financial advisors. In order for us to be accommodated, we need to go to UFS, which is the University of Free State. And it's very much more expensive. Another institution, it is Stellenbosch. Another institution, it is Melpark and Moonstone. Those institutions are therefore run by the other ethnic groups. So we therefore request the Mayibuye to talk on our behalf for financial advisors to have the curriculum at UNISA, so that UNISA can recognize us, and for us to have the CFP, the CFP, which is the Certified Financial Planning qualification at UNISA. And therefore, the fees, we request the INSETA to fund the financial advisors when they want to go to UNISA, so that they must have the funding, because those institutions are very much more expensive for us. Another one is that I am happy for the fact that, one, there are educators in this room who will definitely request all the kids from maybe grade 6 or grade 8 to have the curriculum of wealth management at the school level. Reason being, most of us, or the majority of the financial advisors, we came as a default into the insurance industry. Uze ngokuthi one awutholanga umsebenzi. Therefore, you can go and work at Old Mutual or Sanlam, and therefore you ended up running your own insurance firm. There was no one who grew up and saying, I want to be a financial advisor. But there are guys who are saying, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer. But if you don't succeed into those, therefore you ended up becoming a financial advisor, then you came as a default. Now we wanted to come up, please, we want Mayibuye to make this paradigm shifting exercise. Would you know what? Let this be a curriculum, let there be a curriculum from NQF level 4, from these NQF level 4, NQF level 5. If they matriculate, therefore they know for the fact that now they can go to this financial institution and contribute. Now what is happening is that according to this industry, we take, therefore us as employers employ kids from TVET colleges who don't know anything about financial advisory. When they come to us, we train them, they ended up going to the bigger institutions. That's another thing that I just wanted to make a contribution into.
As
Then
we
the last
conclude,
one,
thank
it is
you.
that one, I've never heard since 1999, the insurance company that is run by blacks, that is run by Africans. This industry, it is lily white and it is controlled by Jews. So hence for the fact that it is controlled by Jews, they are holding it, they are protecting it. They don't want any color. The financial institutions, they don't want any color because of the fact that they know for the fact that the balance sheet into that industry, they talk about trillions. They don't want anybody into that industry. So now the last one that you know what, I've forgotten the last one, but thank you so much, Chair.
You can always make your, thank you very much. You can always make your inputs, send substantial input via email. We do have time. As Mayibuye, we said, this time we are dedicating it to a proper and a thorough consultation. So let's proceed like that, ladies and gentlemen, and let's be brief and on our points. Thank you.
Tobela, thank you very much to the leadership for creating this opportunity. My name is Khante Mabule. I'm an entrepreneur in a very specialized field called maintenance of DNA analyzers. I've traveled to more than 45 countries in the continent. But I can tell you the main point I'm hoping that this new organization can actually assist is conscientize our people. You know, in the words of the great Bantu Stephen Biko, he spoke about conscientizing our people to understand that you are whole. There's nothing special about a white person. I'm operating in a space where I'm losing projects, yet I'm the only black-owned company that maintains DNA analyzers. I've been trained in Germany. I've done more than 15 trainings in Germany. I've done trainings in the US, Austria, Finland, all over the world. And what is very painful is that those tenders are reviewed by black brothers like us, who still thinks that things are right because it's a white company. It is a white company, therefore they're going to do quality. So it's brainwashing whereby it's white, it must be all right. So I believe as part of this movement, there must be a very foundational program of also dealing with this conscientizing and teaching Pan-Africanism amongst our brothers. For me, my understanding of conscientizing is that, you know, we don't hate any race, but we just love our people more. If I'm reviewing 5 companies, I must intentionally look for a black company to empower. I'm not saying I must compromise quality. I always make this funny joke that might offend some other people to say, if I find a white guy fighting with a black guy, we move the white guy and after I'll ask my brother while we were sitting, what happened? Who did what? The aim of that is that if it's white people who find a black guy fighting with a white guy, white people will do the same. If a white guy finds a white guy murdering a black guy, they murder the black guy first. And when they're finished, that's when they will ask him. So basically the main aim of my example is that our people still value, we're so brainwashed by this past social injustice that has happened to us called apartheid. It's unfortunate we'll never stop speaking about that because the structural foundations of that social injustice still exist until today. We're still living negative benefits of that social injustice. So we'll always talk about it. Hence, I am saying that there's still these specialized industries. As an example, the industry that I'm in. I am telling you, I've lost projects where I was the only black-owned company bidding. They'll give me some funny excuses to say you didn't tick on this page. Yet for a white-owned company, a simple thing like that, they'll call them and say, please, you forgot to submit this document. Please submit it. So that is my point. I'm hoping that maybe by virtue of having traveled the continent, I've seen how white people respect black people in Burkina Faso. By the way, I'm traveling to Ouagadougou in the coming 2 weeks. I've been there 3 times already. Now I'm traveling. I'm actually very excited. It's an opportunity to go and see the works of the great Ibrahima Traore to compare with what I've seen actually 2 years or 3 years ago. I think the last time I was in Ouagadougou was in 2022. I am going there in the next coming 2 weeks. So my point is, I've seen how white people respect black people in Ghana. I see how they talk to them. But that's not the same here. In this country, black people in corporate offices, they are fearing white people. It's shameless, it's very bad. And maybe that comes from this notion of just thinking that these people are special, they are superior, they are clever than us. For me, I'm hoping the movement can educate Africans as a very strong, foundation to say there's nothing special about a white person. I've worked with a lot of stupid white people, I'm sorry to say that. Hence, I don't judge a man. I know there's very clever black guys who can be more capable, more clever than white people. But unfortunately, I believe we're brainwashed as Africans. We still need to be educated to understand that, look, there's nothing that a white person will do that I can do. My second thing, the issue of economic activism. I'll always refer to race, unfortunately, because we are where we are. The history of this country is benefiting from injustices of race. White people feel pain when you hit them where it has the most, and that's in the pocket. White people disrespect Africans in this country so much, and we don't do nothing. We don't have a very organized economic activism where we can say, right, Pick n Pay has mistreated our brothers. Let's decide as residents of Midrand, for this 1 week we don't buy from Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay has done this to our people in Limpopo. Let's decide from this 1 week, as people of wherever, we don't buy from ShopRite for that 1 week. Unfortunately, we are so divided that they know they can do as they please, and they don't have any power to do anything about it. So the issue of economic activism, where we actually have a very powerful, intentional program of saying, if they show disrespect, let's find a way of uniting, of dealing with those things. Those are my 2 inputs, and thank you very much, leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would love to, let's get the last hand on this row. And let's also thank those who are watching or listening to us on different media platforms where we are broadcasting. Please feel free to send your comments, send your questions there. We are able to view them, and we really are appreciative of the fact that you took time and watched this beautiful gathering of Mayibuye Consultation. Over to you.
Good evening. Seen a lot of emerging political parties from the time of our president, the former president Thabo Mbeki, but we've seen them all go down the same route. They become anti-Zuma, anti-Mbeki, anti-Malima, anti-whoever who is in power. And when that person steps out, they become irrelevant. And then we start to call them cults. That is because the people have not been listening to the people. By the people, I mean the leaders. So I'd like to thank this process, because we're hearing a lot of input from people, but let it not end with just input from people. Let it be practiced. And to answer the question of whether we need another political party in South Africa, I fully stand by you, Comrade Nico Floyd Shivambu. I think this, if you continue it this way, it will be the change that our people need. So let us also, as the people that are following, the people that are asking, the people that are answering, let us not only end by just coming here by ourselves. We have our brothers and sisters at home. We have our colleagues at work. We have our unemployed cousins in the village. We have a lot of people that we engage with on a daily basis. So it is not only the duty of the leadership, it is also our duty as the people of South Africa to make sure that we make this thing a success. I, for one, I tweeted about it a few days back. I said, if Floyd Shivambu fails, South Africa will need another 100 years to recover. We have seen a lot of failing political parties. We've seen political parties become MPs down, come down. We are very tired, Mr. Shivambu. We are very, very tired. I am a 30-year-old, let me say, man. I've tried 3 different businesses. I've applied for funding around 8 times. I've had my business profiles and business plans reviewed by powerful accountants, but nothing has happened. Why? Because in Tonga we say, you cannot get anything without giving something in the current government that we have. So, for how long will we allow it to happen, comrades? For how long shall we allow our countries to be sold to the highest bidder? So all these things of education and everything, I've had them. I'm a teacher by profession, a skills development facilitator under MICT CETA. I've had all these things. There were great points being raised, but let us not fall into the trap of becoming another cult. Let us lead for the people. Amen.
Thank you. Let's move to this row. Here with the bright jacket. Let's hand over the microphone here. Thank you. Let's not forget to introduce ourselves and state where we're coming from.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Noktula. I am an honors student at the University of Johannesburg. I had an opportunity to actually work and live in China for a couple of years, and I came back last year actually to come back and try pursue a career in South Africa, and to say I was disappointed to find a South Africa that is like this: crime, youth unemployment, and all of these things. And I was one of the few people that actually thought that we don't need another political party, but then I realized that we actually do need another political party, a party that will represent young people correctly. And when I had a conversation with a few of my colleagues, they had said that, no, but the EFF is there to represent young people. And I said, no, we need a political party that will be strategic in representing young people. And the first thing that I would like to see Mayibuye, if it really does become a political party, is to have a very strong research-based committee, I think research is very important, and it's something that we lack in all political parties. We need a research committee that will do research and answer the most important question: how are we going to solve the problems of South Africans? How? And then the action thereafter. Because a lot of youth is tired of hearing the same old, things that, yeah, we're gonna create employment. How are you going to do it? How are you going to make sure that young people are getting employed? How are you going to make sure that there is security in our country? And the other thing that is really sad is that we're losing a lot of talent in South Africa because there is no security. And a country that lacks security is definitely going down the drain. So what I would like to see from Mayibuye is a good research committee that is really going to conduct both qualitative and quantitative research on how we can actually solve the problems of specifically young South Africans. And on that also, women empowerment, I would like to see a representative of young black women, a party that really, really speaks to young black women. We are not represented, especially young women. We can even see in this room, there's like probably less than 15 women in here, young women. Why is that? We need also to really speak to young people. We need a party that will speak to young black women and be represented, to be able to really, understand the needs of young black women. We need that, and that is why I'm here today to say, I never thought I would get into party politics, honestly, or be involved in such, but I thought to myself, really change is really in politics. Yes, some people may say in policy and so forth, but the real decision makers are politicians. So that's what I'd love to see for this party.
Thank you very much. The microphone is yours, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Tato Ledwaba. I am a science student, and I am also juggling a whole lot of other things because the economy is not kind enough to let me just study. Two things that we're talking about, youth employment or employment generally, and entrepreneurship, right? So what I am looking
Can you keep the microphone? Sorry, can you keep the microphone?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Perfect. One thing that I am looking forward to when it comes to Mayibuye and what we can or what I am expecting from that is support structures for professionals, and not just professional bodies that already exist, but support structures that are there for the professionals and for those that can benefit from them. A typical example is Mayibuye Medics that we have at the back of the room, where we have medics and medical professionals who come together to give out medical services to members and to South Africa as a whole, free of charge. These are people that are offering their services as medics, right? We need structures like that for other professions as well. We need structures like that for teachers who go out and teach our learners in high schools, who go out and teach our learners in primary schools to increase pass rates and therefore create higher statistics for pass rates, right? We also need that for lawyers, for accountants as well. I've heard a lot of people speaking about finance in this very same room. I'm sure a lot of people can benefit from the financial services that they would get from these people through Mayibuye and the consultation service or the consultation process as a whole. So we can rather organize and run these structures in such a way that they would impact positively the people that would benefit from them being us, the South African people or people from South Africa, and also positively impact those that render their services to these people. So not only do we have structures like MKP Medics, or rather Mayibuye Medics, my apologies, Mayibuye Medics, where we offer these services, we also give them an opportunity to, one, sharpen their skills, two, give also access to training to these people so that this brightens up and increases their chances of being employable in the job market. Moving on, another thing is that when we go into entrepreneurship, one thing that I've also heard is the unavailability of empowerment within businesses. So people having business ideas and not knowing what to do with these ideas. How Mayibuye consultation process can assist in this instance would be to host symposiums and host business summits where we are able to access business people and businessmen, where we are able to network with these people to get insight into certain careers, into certain fields, see what's what and how to go about certain things. And this will improve the chances of rather getting more business people and more successful businesses as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we pass the microphone? It's all yours. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Matimba. Matimba. Thank you very much, leadership, for this opportunity. My name is Bafana Mabunda.
Can we get the microphone closer as we
Oh,
speak?
thank you very much, leadership,
Thank
for
you.
this opportunity to interact with you. My name is Bafana Mabunda. I'm a member of the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. I'm a forensic investigator in the private sector. The question that we are faced with tonight is, or this evening is, that you leadership are asking us is, do we form a new political party or not? The answer to that question is a resounding yes, for the following reasons. South Africa is becoming a kleptocracy, a parasitic state. What I'm seeing in my space where I'm operating as a forensic investigator is the big problem that I know this will sound controversial to the leadership of Mayibuye Consultation, but I want you to seriously look at this, and I will, automatically, support this or support this organization and become a member. If Mayibuye can do away with tenders. The reason why I don't like tenders, if you check what is happening now, South Africa is becoming a kleptocracy because of tenders. People are killing each other. We are dealing currently with what the commissioner and KZN said. All these things emanate from tenders. So tenderpreneurship, we have a problem of this. As a forensic investigator, when I drive in the street, I always watch my back. Because I'm always, scared. I get threats. When I write a report, these things emanate from tenders. I mean, growing up in Guyana, I grew up during the time of Dr. Ntsamwisi, who was a chief minister there. We didn't have tenders there. The state, and I want Mayibuye to look at this very seriously, the leadership of Mayibuye. You, Mr. Shibambo. The issue of government that works without tenders. If you look back, you can do a research, if you are not aware, how Dr. Ntsamwisi operated. He ran a very good government that was delivering services to the people of Guyana. I mean, where the university there, that ANC has taken away from us, we had everything there, a parliament. We had water. Today there's no water in Guyana. And it's because of tenders. There's a tender that has been running for almost 20 years in Guyana, trying to provide water to us. If you check there, millions and millions have been stolen. There's no water. Dr. Ntsamwisi provided water without all these tenders. So I want Mayibuye, I'm trying to answer the question why Mayibuye must be registered as a political party. I want Mayibuye to do away with tenders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May we pass the microphone there to the two gentlemen. The one with the light jersey first, and then yourself, sir. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Moteo, surname is Malope, originally from Atteridgeville, and I just want to say, Comrade Chivambo, for the first time, I think last time I attended a political organization was in 2007, after Thabo Mbeki. I was first year, I think it was my first year working. Currently, I'm in financial industry working for 18 years. And it is certain because of when you're looking at the current state of the country. And I'm representing the missing middle. The people who do not form part of the political parties, the people who are now would rather watch generations is 8 o'clock, unlike watching people talking and talking about stomach politics. I'm representing the working class. For 18 years been working. I think it's quite difficult at my age, 40 years, now nearing 20 years. And what is it that is happening? I do not need anything because of I can say that I have everything, but I'm poor. Medical aid has been paid. I owe the house and car, everything is like that. I'm in financial, and I can survive with the credit card and so forth. Those things we survive, and we are the taxpayers, we are paying. And I can see, I heard that people saying that, talking about healthcare that is not working. I do not feel such brand because of I'm working, but and I'm here because of I want to see change. And as a country, I think missing middle, the young generations, the one that is born, they want the voice. It's not only about us, it's about the future. Please, let's not look at what is it that I'm going to gain here. It is all about what is it that I can give to the country. And we are here because of, as well, we think that you are also one of the honest people. We've been following you since the SASCO days. And that's hence when you left, we did not follow you because of you are not leading. And that's why we are here. So my plea is that political party can be formed and we will support you, the missing middle. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Please pass.
I'll be brief. Thank you very much. Mayibuye.
Africa.
Africa.
Mayibuye.
As I've said, I'll be brief, very much brief. Thank you very much, leadership of Mayibuye, first of all, for inviting us to this consultation. And I also want to thank us here for being part of this. I've heard very brilliant ideas. I've heard people expressing themselves, sharing their frustrations in various industries, contributions all around. So I want us also to acknowledge ourselves as the people who have come to participate here on these consultations, that we've spent time, we've already taken a step towards the right direction. I'll be brief, maybe for the sake of you wanting my name is Mongezi.
Yes,
it
Mongezi.
means to add more, to contribute more. That is me. I'm a professional and I'm an entrepreneur. I'll be quick. First of all, I want us to have a food for thought. Just 3 things. In this day and age, what is common within all of us here? We all have this. We all have cell phones. Each and every one of us. I bet we have cell phones. Now, when it comes to entrepreneurship, this is mine. I'll throw one advice or one idea. I mean, I won't throw all the advices. Obviously, it will take us until Nelson Mandela Day, if at all, are we to do that. When it comes to entrepreneurship, what I would love to see Mayibuye do, simplicity, easy access, and technology. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? What does it take for you to become an entrepreneur today? You need to register. You need to go to SARS. You need to do this, different departments, get accreditation. Somebody was talking there about accreditation and all that. And yet, we are living in this era. We are 2025 now. It shouldn't be the case. We should be using technology to advance ourselves. I should be able to register a company within 5 minutes. And depending on what industry that company is, there should be feedback saying that you have registered this company, we have assigned you to SARS, here's your SARS number, here's your bank account, you are in this industry. Do you know you can get assistance from the Department of Trade and Industry because you are exporting maybe a massage? You know, such things, everything should be here. It should be easily accessible to one urban and to the ones in rural. I want us to have a food for thought about that. That's one. I'm talking there as an entrepreneur. Number 2, as a professional. It's sad what is happening. The rot, I must mention, the rot, it's deep and it's systematic. So we need to be strategic in addressing this rot that is happening. Many area industries, I've been listening to people from various industries. The gentleman here is frustrated within the financial industry. The other one is also frustrated. Many industries, what has been happening, it's gatekeeping. The ones who've been there previously, some of them, they have formed associations. We will be, me and my brother here, we've been in this industry for the past 30 years. We say, form this association. Why? because you want to gatekeep, because you want to commercialize and make money out of the black people so that people cannot come in. Accessibility should be key. Nothing is difficult. As my brother was saying here, we as blacks, we are not stupid, we are not dumb, but the system is preventing us from going inside. So, Mayibuye should also relook into this thing of these associations and these bodies that are out there. Most of them, they're not even regulated. But they claim to be the champions of those industries. Why? To mitigate the black child from coming in. So I would love those 2 points to think about that. Most of the points I do share when there's chance. And I will also be sending an email as well. Thank you very much. And
Thank you,
with
Mongesi.
Africa banbe good.
Let's get this one right. From where are you, Mongesi?
I'm from around here, from Waterfall. I will not mention the company that I'm enticed to look after the brand because I'm not, but I'm also an entrepreneur. But I'm from around here. I'm from Waterfall.
There's my sister with a red jacket who's been raising a hand with a red jacket. Let's recognize her. I will come back to all of us.
Sanban, my name is Nomtana Zonkosi.
Can we all give her our attention, please? Thank you.
Greetings, Chair. Greetings to the House. My name is Nomtana Zonkosi.
Keep the microphone closer.
Okay. I am a project manager by qualification, but I am an entrepreneur, and I'm very passionate about the youth and women. Comrade Chair, I have 4 points that I would like to probe into if we were to consider a new political party. And the first one would be an alternative to NYDA. So part of what my company does is consultancy, which means that I'm very much exposed to the challenges of an average young person in South Africa when it comes to employment opportunities. I mean, when it comes to the NYDA, I think we're fully aware that it's not doing what it's supposed to do in terms of the young people with regards to funding, skills, upliftment, and so forth. So if we can look into the formation of an alternative to the NYDA, I think it would do justice to the youth of this country. I'll also speak into funding and purchase order funding. I think I heard a gentleman say we must do away with the tendering process. I think that will be another discussion. But there is SOSFIN that was introduced to mitigate when it comes to SMMEs who do not have funding when a bid is awarded to them. It sounds simple on paper. It sounds accessible on paper. But as an entrepreneur, I know it's not that accessible because the terms and conditions that come with who can we fund, who can we not, are deeper than what's on paper. So that will be the second point. Comrade Chair, on exactly a year ago, I was taken in an Uber, kidnapped in an Uber. I opened a case and nothing was done to date. That speaks to the safety of South Africa. And those are the issues that the government says nothing about. My last point is compensation for social media creativity. I am a social media content creator on top of being an entrepreneur. The difference between us and other content creators out there is not even a measure of creativity. I think South Africans are very creative to a point where challenges that we start in South Africa are used internationally. So if we're to speak of a political party that's going to be formed, those are some of the issues that need to be addressed because the average content creator, Comrade Chair, makes $16 million a year. Are you not telling me that that for a young person in South Africa would mean so much? And it also mitigates the gap of unemployment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen and comrades, I'm going to allow only few hands, and all of us who are going to speak, let's be straight to the point and not less than 3 minutes. Yeah, can we stick to time?
Sanbonani, ubhekwa kaMhlambilo from Esprit View Ekurhuleni. Mine is simple. Ngenza multi certifications kuma high schools around Gauteng. But then, you know, people will block you. But I've ngihlale ngipusha, press on. Thank you, Mayibuye, ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi ngithole this platform again. Ngoba sengikhona ukuthi ngiyasebenza manje. But then I was using my money because of Masia Forma funding. They are trying to block us. Benza into snacks and stuff. There's a lot. But into ekhona manje, I've went to a meeting no mayor waseGuruleni. Ngamtshela ngathi at a go I'll hire 20,000 youth at a go. Wathi kimi nginamanga, I can't do that. Ngambonisa ngathi okay, I've touched basic goal, it's about 2,000 eGuruleni, right? And then I can hire 10 per school. Send them multi-certifications and stuff. Your driver's license, you name them, your drone, forklift and stuff. That's what I'm doing. So ngambonisa ukuthi no lento yenzeka kanjani. Then mangumbonisa wathi uzobuya back game. Only to find that enormous, how do they operate? Bayeza abanye kimi bafuna imali, umuntu athi ufuna 10 million rand. Ngithi uzoyithatha phi 10 million ingakaqala ukusebenza, right? So then I'm trying to say ngale ama glimpse ngale okuncane ngikuveza, people, we need help. We need help, and seriously so. Let's show this is according to this is a political
1
party
minute
already.
left.
Thank you. This is a political party already. I'm here to endorse that. The political party. Leadership anjishintshe, please. Ngadlala ngesikhathi sethu. Angeke ngizodlala ngesikhathi sethu. What I'm saying now, ukuthi lastly, please, let's show them. Let's not work in silos. Let's work together and assist one another. For instance, let's help one another. Guys, you hear my cry. Throughout there. And then I need your support as well. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. May we please finish these two hands on this row? We've got only 3 minutes each.
Favor, Mayibuye, favor.
Let's keep the microphone closer.
Yes, I'm an advocate from one. I'm in a legal profession. The contribution which I want to make is I actually want to ask this rhetorical question. Whether, as a Mayibuye, are we going to consider reviewing the Constitution, and whether the Constitution that we have says 1996 did not have an impact in failing to achieve transformation goals. We can look at all our legislations. If we see all the legislations which have been created since 1996, they would start with a preamble to give effect to this constitutional imperative in our constitution. But there is no legislation that has achieved its goals. You can look at the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act. You can look at Employment Equity Act. At least the Employment Equity Act achieved something in the public service. But all these legislations, we have got the Legal Practice Act. It starts with a preamble giving effect to these constitutional imperatives in our constitution, but says the Legal Practice Act was promulgated. There is nothing that we can show that this is what we have achieved. So my question will be, are we going to be deliberate to say the Constitution has to be reviewed, and thereafter we review all the legislations which have been adopted since 1994, because we are not achieving anything and there's no hope for black person if we continue with the Constitution as well as the pieces of legislations that we have in South Africa.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades, I've reviewed my 3 minutes. It's now 2 minutes. We're at 54 minutes past. Exactly 56 you should be done. Thank you.
Good evening, and fellow entrepreneurs. My name is Pilani Dlamini. I am under the Mayibuye Medics as a registered counselor by profession, but I am here in my capacity as an entrepreneur today. I represent the perfume industry, an industry that is heavily dominated by foreign entities and entities of other ethnicities. This industry is very lucrative in terms of profits and revenue in general. But when you look at the people who are very much profiting and who are very much active in this industry, you find very few prominent black South African people there. So Mayibuye must make a constant and a consistent effort to make sure that black local entrepreneurs in this industry are recognized and are able to participate and profit from its existence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's pass the microphone to the last row there. We've got 2 minutes each. Thank you. 2 minutes each.
Okay.
Thank you.
Riperine, namshawata Queen. I'm a scientist by profession, but I will want to use my language because I don't want to be like Penny. Mina Robert Chauke and Uma Kashkundo Asa Salamani. Se botniku kuyalo kumkamvutsa xivutiso muku xana Mayibuye yi nga va a political party. Ni nga swi vula mina ya yi nga va political party. Loko ku pela a freedom charter leyi mbalala ku yona ku la South Africa implementiwa. Mi ta va mi kha mi implementa yona. I would say that yes, Mayibuye can be a political party if you implement the freedom charter. But I have question on Mayibuye leadership. Ku shana mitavana Congress leyi mi nga ta va loko mo tshuka mi fomile political party mitavana Congress leyi mi nga ta electa ti leadership na or mi to qacha tani leswi mi nga ku qacheni na sweswi na I question leyi ni nga na yona mina. Second question.
As you wrap up?
Yes. I have 2 questions only. Eko amlo kwata ka MK na. Are you not angry aka MK? Eko loko mo sweswi you want to form a political party. Yes, I can vote you because we come from the same district. But I want to know if maybe I follow you, are you not angry? Nah, because I don't want to follow an angry organization.
Thank you very much. May we pass the microphone? Let's pass the microphone. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kibali Singh Mabitela. It's a good Dobsonville. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I would like to say thank you to everybody who's here. Charity begins at home. You left everybody at home to be here. And I guess you want to follow this party and say, Nico and the crew, ensure that you guys, I don't know, you run that office like if you are Xi Jinping at some point. Because if that is broken, then all of us, unfortunately, we are going to follow a broken or headless chicken. I'm happy about this family meeting. Some family meeting is going to be convened to protect few that would still, unfortunately, and with impunity, and stand there and say, I didn't do it. So you guys, I don't want to say much. I'm simply saying, galvanize that group, and please don't forget the sovereign fund. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last hand. There is a last hand on that row. There is a last hand. 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gentle Mashopane. I am originally from Malamulele, but currently based in Rustenburg. I run a funeral parlor called Pyramid Group Funerals. We operate in the financial sector. So my submission to you, leadership, today is Operating in the financial sector, as we may know, it's highly dominated by white companies. To be specific to the funeral parlors is we work so hard to get clients, but at the end, we do not own those clients. Big insurers owns our clients. We end up working for the big insurers. So my view here is, as people operating within this sector, we want to participate in influencing the FSCA and the Prudent Authority in order to change and remove governing funeral parlors using insurance rules, because we are not an insurance, we are a services company, and we need to influence and have submission on that. So that's my submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been wonderful. You have been so well disciplined and straight to the point. It clearly shows that Mayibuye consultation process has actually attracted a lot of professionals, people with brains, who are able to tell us what to do in the near future. This is now an opportunity for the leadership of the Mayibuye to respond to some of the questions. Majority were comments, but there are questions that we are going to respond to. I'm going to now hand over to the national convener of the Mayibuye consultation process, Comrade Nyiko Shivambu. Thank you very much.
Amandla, Mayibuye, ya Africa. No, thank you very much, National Chairperson, and thank you very much to all the participants. We are truly and genuinely humbled that we asked on Tuesday that we invite professionals and entrepreneurs to join us today to make reflections in the process that we are engaged in. And in a very short space of time, we got the response that we got, and it's a very balanced composition of people and professionals and entrepreneurs from different sectors. And we got to receive very, very useful inputs and submissions in terms of the whole process. I want to start with a question which I think has to be responded to, because one of the things that I've got to perhaps very closely witness has been the formations of some of the political parties in South Africa. And I think I've got a far much more better analysis and assessment of what primarily could have led to some of those formations. And I will use that to then draw a very clear distinction between those political parties and the process that we're engaged in now. So after the ANC's 52nd National Congress or conference in Polokwane in 2007, then of course President Mbeki was not re-elected as the president of the ANC, despite that he was available for third term. And then President Zuma was elected at that time. And then in September of 2008, there was a decision of the ANC to recall President Mbeki as a president and head of state. And those who associated and supported President Mbeki went to found the Congress of the People as an organization. And with his full support, he was part of the planning on the formation of the Congress of the People. And the primary reason for that was that they lost conference and he was recalled as a head of state and president of South Africa. I know this because at that time, I was in the National Executive Committee of the ANC Youth League, and I was full-time in the head office of the ANC as a national spokesperson, head of policy research, and we had to conceptualize and try to characterize what COPE was that time. But primarily was the anger which that comrade is speaking about, which those who supported President Mbeki were expressing against the ANC that was led by President Zuma. That is why COPE did not become a durable program. That is one. Two, the formation of the economic freedom fighters came from different streams. There are those of us who believed that we should take up the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime outside of the ANC and fight it as a genuine, legitimate struggle. But amongst us, those who said that we must go and constitute the struggle for economic freedom outside of the ANC as a separate organization, there were those who wanted to use that platform as an expression of anger against President Zuma, who was the president of the ANC, elected in 2007 and re-elected in 2012 in Bloemfontein. And how do you notice that? Is that against our advice perpetually, like those who work with us will tell you this, that against our advice perpetually, the guidance that the EFF will have from its president or leader will be, let's disrupt Zuma by all means possible, even if on some issues you can potentially agree. That we are just fighting Zuma to the bitter end, it doesn't matter what he says. Zuma comes to parliament, he says that let us try to mobilize 2/3 majority to change the constitution. No, we don't want anything to Zuma or to do with Zuma. To the extent that the EFF even fought side by side with the white capitalist establishment to remove President Zuma. Like associated openly with the establishment, because amongst those who were in the EFF leadership, there were those who were saying, no, we are going to disrupt Zuma, we don't want to listen to him on anything, even on areas where there potentially could have been some consensus and agreement. On issues that were going to resolve the crisis and problems of the people of South Africa. And comrades, you'll say, obviously, people will say, no, but you were there. Yes, you were there. But there are so many decrees that got to be over-dominant in terms of the direction of the organization. That is part of the reasons why we had to disassociate from such nonsensical approach to politics, where it's, I'm fighting this person to the bitter end. You must listen to some of the things that will be said that, no, we're just fighting. Even where there is potential for agreement on some of the policy questions, and you just throw the wedge wider and wider every day. The third other aspect which we should make honest reflection about as well is that whilst Mkhonto weSizwe could be presented as a formation which should unite all progressive forces, the other underlying aspect which defines some of the people there is to fight the current ANC personalities and leadership because of the fact that President Zuma was recalled as a head of state and president. To the extent that both the EFF and the MK, for narrow purposes, just allowed for a creation of a white government, whilst there could have been some basis which could have united the political parties whose umbilical cords are buried in the same yard, who are united behind the Freedom Charter, have got some degree of a common program, but they say no. If it's Ramaphosa is there, no ways. Personalities. I can assure you now that I'm personally not agitated myself by MK or EFF, and that we could form a political party just because of those two aspects. The reality is that objectively, majority of the people of South Africa have got no faith in this democratic project and the election process. They have given up completely, and they demonstrate that much more vividly. The number of people in South Africa who are above the age of 18 years and above, who are eligible to vote, is 41, 42 million people. In 2024 elections, there was 17 point something million people who voted. So that is less than 50% of those who are eligible to vote. In 1994, there were 40 million people in South Africa, but 19 million people voted because they believe that this democracy is going to bring up something. So currently, majority of adults in South Africa say these things, we've got no faith in it. We just rather, they let them do whatever they want to do. So we do not have legitimately elected governments because majority of the people have not participated in establishing the current governments. Already the people are speaking as to these things. So what that means is that majority of eligible voters in South Africa have got no faith in all the political parties combined. They've declared a vote of no confidence in all of them combined. This process that we are engaged in now, it's not about trying to prove a point to anyone. It's not about trying to act bigger and much cleverer than any other person. It's to say, let us constitute a platform which will involve all the people of South Africa. I was saying earlier on to the leadership that we must not run into the temptation of cultifying Africa Mayibuye. Now, comrades, we are going to form a political movement which will contest elections if all of us agree we should do so. And it will be called the Africa Mayibuye Movement, which is going to contest elections. And the values and principles of that party will be shaped by the people of South Africa. We're not tiptoeing around, we're not confused, but we do not want to form a political movement which we just sit in a round table and we think we're intellectuals and ideologues and conceptualize without touching base with the people. There are so many useful things, then inputs, which we get to even listen to here today. A lot of fresh ideas that are coming up as to what do we do and how do we do things differently. So the comrade who's a forensic auditor, he points to the direct relationship between tenders and political killings and corruption. We advocated for building state capacity in a different organization. But when that organization went into political power, had the power to could stop tenders and build state capacity, was number one in the line to receive tenders. And we realize that and those are some of the things that we have to look into. In the process of consultation, we have said and we will always say that we are not going blank or empty. There are certain principles and values that will guide us. Also, we can assure you that part of those principles will be the respect and full recognition of royal leadership in South Africa, because it is not recognized as per the 1996 Constitution of South Africa. It is just noted. So the royal leadership is just noted that, yes, this traditional leadership, but in the legal framework of South Africa, it does not have any defined rules. And we will have to look into that differently. The other principle, Comrade, I forgot the name you said, from the new organization that is in public service, the union. The other principle and value is that we are going to be on the side of the working class and workers. And the poor. So we are on the side. So in the class divide between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, we are on the side of the proletariat, if we were to speak in that language. That aspect, we can't form an organization to be a committee that manages the common affairs of those who are the ruling class. We are not going to do that. We are going to fight on the side of the people to represent that is the posture that we will take. And the other important aspect as well, as black people, as Africans, I think an interesting term which is used by the comrade who spoke with the training from Germany and other countries, who said it's going to Burkina Faso now, is the issue of economic activism amongst black people. That there's a simple fact that as black people, the amount of money which we receive as wages, as social grants from government, from the private sector, from entrepreneurial projects, is more than 1.5 trillion every 12 months. But 80–90% of that money we give back to white people and to other people of other origins. We don't spend money amongst ourselves. I can tell you now that even if we were to circulate 30–40% of the income that we earn amongst ourselves and empower ourselves, the levels of black poverty in South Africa was not going to be at the levels that is at now. The levels of unemployment amongst black people was not going to be at the rate that is at now. But we get all our resources, it's Pick n Pay, it's Boxer, it's ShopRite, it's Spar. And the informal trading sector of Pakistanis take about 200 billion of that out to their home countries. We don't get to support each other. We have to lead a process as Africa Mayibuye of black economic solidarity, where black South Africans support each other with everything, so that we then lead ourselves to collective economic upliftment that is going to change our lives much more collectively. I'm particularly impressed, like deeply touched by the inputs that we have here. And I would think, and I will recommend that to those who are going to be drafting the Constitution, it must be compulsory for Mayibuye leadership structures at all levels to have sectoral engagements with the people at least twice per year, biannually. It must not just be an issue for the formation of the party, and after that, we say we don't want to hear from the sector anymore. Or only when there is elections. It must be compulsory that from time to time, we should be guided by the aspirations and the interest of the people in all sectors, religious sector, and different processes. Now, Just to give an update, the other leaders are still going to come and respond. But the manner in which we have planned the consultation process, we are going to be consulting this weekend in Limpopo on Saturday and Sunday, and then on Tuesday, we're in the Free State, and then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're in the Eastern Cape, and then the other Tuesday, we're in Mpumalanga and in Kwandebele, and then we'll go to Bushbuck Ridge, and then go to Nkomazi and Mbombela. And in all those consultations, we'll be meeting with traditional leadership and also with members of the community, with church leaders to receive input. And those inputs that we're going to be receiving will shape the nature and character of the organization. So this consultation process will culminate in a national convention, Mayibuye National Convention, which is going to now adopt officially the founding documents and founding principles and founding constitution and policy frameworks as to what are the policy statements of Mayibuye, and also a program of action to prepare for the upcoming elections, which must be contested with the aim of winning. And in the process of consultation, we will be identifying potential leaders for regional and sub-regional levels, to the extent that by the time we announce that we have agreed on a political party, these are the values, but this is who will be leading the party in all the 257 municipalities of South Africa and all the 54 regions and all the 9 provinces. We already have got provincial leadership that has been identified. But we can't announce a party before we get the input of all the people of South Africa. There has to be, you can think that you know everything, but you realize that every day and every time you listen to the inputs of the people, you get to learn something new every day. And we really appreciate the inputs that we got. And the good thing is that this process was being recorded as well. So when we're driving for long distances, we'll listen from our radios, put on the earphones, and want to refine some of the inputs, the very useful inputs that we got to receive from everyone. The other important aspect to highlight before the other leaders come is the process which our sister said that we should do in other professions what Mayibuye Medics has already begun. So we've got doctors Chauke and Biela who came brilliantly with Mayibuye Medics. It used to be called something else before. But it's Mayibuye Medics, voluntary work, and it must be graduated into, it must be graduated from screening to many other functions as well. Provide healthcare into our communities, but also identify what are the things that we can do. Small-scale irrigation schemes to teach our people agriculture. The comrades that spoke first here, they said, we must focus on agriculture. We must begin to institute and support irrigation schemes which will help, and guarantee markets as well for the cash crops that will be produced out of that. And in some instances, if there's a water crisis in some of the villages, we can't use 100,000 rand to organize a protest march for water in a village. We're going to take that 100,000 and hire a borehole drilling machine and drill a borehole. And even if we put one pipe of water in that village, at least there have been change of the lives of our people. To constitute a party that is just a complaining and talking instrument. it will be compulsory in the whole movement that there must be social assistance programs that are conducted and done on a daily basis on all sectors. Skills empowerment, business symposiums, networking sessions, even our platforms. The website of Africa Mayibuye must have a directory of where do you get quality black business opportunities, but also services. If you are looking for a lawyer, the lawyers must enlist there. If you are looking for a black accountant, you must enlist there. If you are looking for a proper accommodation services like Mulu, you found it there. Begin to support each other and not just be complainants and complainants every day. We must come with practical solutions that are going to improve the lives of our people. From my side, I'm truly humbled and determination much more revived now that, be rest assured that it's not a tantrum. This process is not a tantrum to try to fight against anyone. It's a genuine process which we actually have said that we must make it impossible, even in the registration of the party, for anyone to feel like they own that party. Not even myself. It must not be possible. It must be democratized foundationally so that all of us are held accountable, we are able to be held accountable to a process. If there are commitments that we make, we must be held accountable to those commitments. We must never and we will never create a cult in terms of what needs to be done. South Africa can't afford to have another cult. Let's have a movement that is going to be a true movement of the people to drive the long overdue and unfulfilled promise of true freedom and emancipation. Maguban.
Of the Mayibuye consultation process, Comrade Menzi Magubani.
Amanda, Africa, Mayibuye. Good evening, comrades, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks from our national convener of the process. I won't be long. Normally, I'm too short. I was touched by a comrade who reflected on the part of industrialization. Comrade National Convener, the challenge is between the black consumption versus the production. And we can't run away, comrades, from the historical fact that apartheid systematically excluded all black South Africans from ownership together with the industrial participation. And that leaves many of black South Africans being consumers rather than producers. And when we check the reality, the current reality, it's that we had BE policies that were created, and they've created some black millionaires, only to find that the broader black population remains economically marginalized. And they have a limited capital market, and there is no industrial opportunities. So we end up being dependent on the import goods. South African relies heavily on imports products that are manufactured out of South Africa. So Mayibuye will strongly embark on promoting black industries and make black business to be producers of products and imports rather than becoming a mere consumers of the products that are not produced here in this country, Africa Mayibuye.
Magubane. I will now hand over to the Deputy Coordinator of the Mayibuye Consultation process, Comrade Ludali Bilo.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Let's also thank you for giving us the mandate. I think it is very clear that you are saying that we must proceed. Even if we had little doubts, we must not have doubts that the time has come for a different vehicle that does not belong to other things but to the people. So we want to thank you for the mandate that we should proceed with the work of forming this vehicle. But I think for me, the most important thing that I seem to be hearing here is that we should also form a vehicle that is based on organized institutions. So all small businesses, all black small businesses must organize themselves under the banner of Mayibuye. So that we have got a body where all small businesses and entrepreneurs know that they can belong there, and that through the politics of Mayibuye can push the agenda. Because it's only through unity that we can defeat this system of neo-colonialism and neo-apartheid. I think the second thing that I'm also drawing, and I'm happy that Busiso has left Nehau. I've been telling him that Nehau, he doesn't want to change the lives of the workers. Every time they discuss with SARS, they just want to know about themselves. And I'm happy that that has happened. But I think the important part here is also to acknowledge that the traditional unions of COSATU, they have completely thrown themselves into this neo-colonial government of Cyril Ramaphosa. And they are not even ashamed that even the president of COSATU will go to America and behave like a colonial clerk, a colonial of workers, not being embarrassed, a leader of COSATU not being embarrassed to drive with the likes of Rupert and behave there like a little girl. And that is a sign that traditional trade unions, I used to be a leader of a union called Communications Workers Union, they've lost relevance. And I think we need to make a call that as Mayibuye, we need to build a proper association of unions and encourage those who want to break away from these unions that have now been taken over by the government to break away, knowing that when they break away, there is an association of union under Mayibuye. Because some of them want to break away, but they're scared. Which if we break away here and I've got 10,000 members, where do I go? I think Mayibuye must open that. The new federation that must be open for all unions to come and join Mayibuye. I think we must open that. But of course, the last part for me is that it is not a secret that the so-called black middle class, does not exist in the definition that they put. You know, I used to work for SARS and I was forced to leave it, so I was forced to resign. Unfortunately, I negotiated an 8-month salary before I left. But I can tell you now, if I resign without a job, in 2 months of resigning, I would have lost everything. So what they saying to us that you buy a house, you buy a car, you are not owning those things. You are renting them from the banks. And that's why if you don't pay the banks in 2 months, they take that house. How can they take a house if you're owning? So it's a system that kept us into this debt. And I think we need to acknowledge that the only way to get out of that system is when we organize ourselves under a banner of a political party that does not belong to families, does not belong to this, does not become a cult, it becomes a party of the people. And I think this is not my words, I'm capturing what you have been saying. I think this is what I heard you been saying. Thank you very much, Chair.
I'm now going to hand over to Comrade Robert to respond. Thank you.
Mandla, Mayibuye, Mayibuye, Africa. Africa. Thank you very much, Program Director. Great International Convener and the leadership of Mayibuye. Greetings to professionals, trade union leadership present here, community leaders, provincial leadership of Mayibuye, and the volunteers of Mayibuye. Amanda! Your submission was very, very, very critical to some of us as leaders of Mayibuye. It is indeed that the call that have made by the national convener, it have made a very critical impact today. But there's one aspect that I was listening, which I thought I must come equally and respond to it. And many of us has raised it to show we are very much concerned about that point. That was the issue of tribalism. You know, some of us, where we come from, we run away because of that term. We are here. And you know, comrades, if you look at the composition of Mayibuye, myself, I'm a vendor from Limpopo. Our national chair from Northern Cape, our deputy convener, Eastern Cape, our SG, KZN, and so on and so on. That composition, it talked to us that no, that virus is not here in Mayibuye. We have buried that. Even our convener always remind us that we must never bring such tendency in Mayibuye, because Mayibuye is not a party, but it's a movement, as per your submission as well. Now that shows Uguti, this session actually, it gives us a proper direction that this is a movement of the people. And who are those people? It's all of us here. Those of you who knows me, I'm equally the president of MAUSA. MAUSA is the union that advocates for poorest people in this country. Actually, if you talk of MAUSA, you talk of South African, because it's the true reflection of our people. And nobody even care about those poorest people in this country. But Mausa come up front and say, we're going to make sure we fight for these poorest people of ours who are trapped in the EPWP, CWP. Now, our responsibility and our role, voluntarily so, is to fight for our people. Now, part of the reason why I'm here, comrades, is to say to those progressive unions who are here, to say, we are making a clarion call as Mayibuye to make an example and follow Mausa and be part and parcel of history to defend our rights of our people in our country. And I'm sure, Guti, those of you leadership of trade union, you are here simply because you know you want change in our country. Now you are welcome, comrades, for bilaterally, so that we are able to shape a proper way forward together in Mayibuye. Amandla.
Thank you very much, Comrade Robert. I now hand over to Comrade Nolubabalo. The Secretary General will make announcements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Yazi, I'm touched and I'm very impressed by tonight's session. Your voices have been heard. Dumisani Twala, Pilani Dlamini, Unati Daimani, Noktula, Nomtana Zongosi, Advocate Lungane. If I could answer each one of you, it will take us the whole night because you have touched where Mayibuye is about. There's a gentleman that said that we need to be concentrating in 3 items, pillars: simplicity, easy access, and technology. We have heard you. And every voice that spoke here, we have taken note. When we draft the constitution of this movement, we will make sure that we incorporate every input that was said today. It reminded me of the words of Steve Biko when he said, "Black man, you are not on your own." And I was asking myself, what does that mean tonight? As I see that we have gathered here today, it says to me that, to us, that solutions to black people's oppression would not come from outside, but will come from within us. Apinde wa Alice Walker ati, we are the ones that we are waiting for. So putting our inputs together, it means that we are a step ahead in a great future in this country. We also want to say is Mayibuye into yokokuba sikunya no General Mkhwanazi. One of the professionals here mentioned safety in schools, educators. So that's why we are saying today that General Mkhwanazi, we are with you, we are behind you fully. And we are also inviting all civic unions to say that we as Mayibuye, as we have heard that people are saying, let's start a political party, which is a movement. We are willing to collaborate with you as we are going to local elections. We are going to hold and unite because we have heard every person was saying, let us unify each other because the white man came into this country to rule and divide. But we are saying it's enough now. We have heard you, and I know that you know our leader, Floyd Shibambo, is a listener and is a strategist. So he will make sure that in the Yokoba, all that we have heard today will be incorporated into our policy manifesto going forward. Thank you. I think it was Madam Noktula when she said, Ndoba, what are the solutions that we can talk about as we move forward? Should we be in government? And she mentioned that we need to invest in research. And it reminded me of Switzerland. Switzerland is a very, very small country, but it's wealthy. But if you look into Switzerland, they only make watches and chocolates. But they invest so much in research. If you look into their strategy of how they make their wealth, they just make sure that they don't ally into any wars, but they make sure that they learn what is happening in all the other countries and they come with a solution through research. So we have heard Tula. We will make sure when we get into power and we govern this country, we will make sure that Ndoba, we invest in education, we'll invest in research and innovation. Tifuna ubulela man, umbuzo uye wathi Ndoba, what are we going to do? And how are we going to take the power of the black people back? All that lies kuni sinivile. Sizakwenza njalo sithi siyabulela. Sinane forms ke ezase IEC kuba nisithi into yokokuba let us start a political party. We'll distribute the forms from IEC where you will write and say into yokokuba we have to start a new party, so that maybe in the next week or two when we announce, we say the people of South Africa says we must start a new party that will be a movement of the people of South Africa. I thank you.
I will now hand over to the Secretary General, Comrade Mahlaba, to make announcements, and then followed by Muruti Shandu to close this beautiful occasion with a prayer.
Amandla, Amandla, Mayibuye, Mayibuye, i-Africa, i-Africa. Ayizobuya ngempela. I'll call him a comrade president because you have declared here that we must open a political party. It's no longer a national convener. President and the leadership, thank you very much to the professionals, Nkosi from Northwest, for coming and attend this historical event. I didn't know that the professionals are frustrated and suffocated. It's bad. It is very bad. Now, I'm going to invite each and every one of us here, including ourselves. Let's go back to our working places, into our families, into our villages. Let's tell our people there is a new home, there's a bullet train that is coming, which is Africa Mayibuye. Let us support that bullet train, because it's a train of the people, not a train of the friends, not a cult, not a Stokvel, but it's for us. There were so many wars that were fought during apartheid. Today we fight the wars. 2026 or 2027 is around the corner. We need to support. We need you to be our ambassadors. We need you to be abakhulumeli bethu. And those who have powers, invite us in your communities. It's part of the consultation. Invite us in your villages so that we can consult with abantu. So I'll call you comrade because comrade are friends we struggle. So go to our website, www.africa-mayibuye, and press, I think there's something there called volunteers something, but volunteer something. Click, join as a volunteer, and be part of this initiative, so that izwe lethu ne-Africa yethu izobuya. Without you, this Africa won't come back. So please, my professionals, give yourself umsebenzi ukuthi one day, just one day, let me spread the word of Mayibuye. One day, one message, one recruitment. Until 60 days. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much. Muruti Shandu.
Comrades, thank you so much. Comrade Convener, all the members of the cabinet, this is the cabinet. Thank you so much for everyone who came today. Amandla, Africa. My comrade, akukho kenzima ukukhuluma ngoNkulunkulu because it's known. Today, we thank him that he called us here today. This meeting was set before us, before we even know about it. Thank you for having the son of the soil, President Shivambu. We will be praying today for everyone who is here to be safe. Safe from the stress that we are going through as the people of South Africa. We are stressed. We are scared. Mbogodo. I've seen and I've heard in Mbogodo, ikhulumile, young women. Awukho umuzi omayo ngaphandle kamama. Be women like the women in the gospel. I would like to give you umpago today. Every time when you come in the house of Lord, you must be given umpago. I'll give you 2 verses that you'll take you home. Proverbs 3 verse 5, you'll read it at home. And Matthew 17 verse 20. Ngizocela ke ogqoke isigqoko maye wesilisa sikhumule bese sigebisa amakhanda sikhuleke. Heavenly Father, thank you for guiding our time together. We ask for your blessing on the decision made and the work to be done. Grant us wisdom and strength to carry out your will. Amen. Everybody say amen. Guys, please drive safe home till we meet again.
As you walk out, as you walk out, You pass the office on your left-hand side. Immediately after the office, there's dinner there served. So let's all go there and have dinner and safe journey back home. Thank you.